Welcome to our board meeting this evening. We will start by reporting out, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance by our student board rep, Aaron.
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
On January 29th, 2025, a tragic mid-air collision occurred over the Potomac River near Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, claiming the lives of all 67 individuals aboard both aircraft. This devastating event has deeply affected countless families, friends, and communities. These days, many plane crashes and disasters have been occurring, like the ones in Korea and the recent one with the figure skaters. I would like to give this moment of silence, remembering not only the 67 deaths, but to honor many other families and communities who have been affected as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next is closed session report by the clerk.
Thank you. 4.1, no report or action taken regarding public employee performance evaluation superintendent. 4.2, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved the settlement agreement in consolidated OAH case numbers 2024-100-368 and 2025010603, resolving all due process issues by providing reimbursements and releases. 4.3, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved the settlement agreement in Orange County Superior Court case number 30-2023-0131132-CU-PO-CJC. 4.4, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved the settlement agreement in Orange County Superior Court case number 30-2023-0136507-CU-PO-CJC. 4.5, no report action taken regarding existing litigation. 4.6, no report action taken regarding negotiations. 4.7, no report action taken regarding personnel. 4.8, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to approve the release of temporary certified teachers. A full copy of the employee numbers affected by this action is available for inspection. 4.9, the Board of Trustees unanimously voted to accept the settlement agreement with employee HR-2024-25-04. And that concludes the report.
Thank you. Now Aaron Beck, our student board representative, will present a report for the district.
Yes.
Aaron?
Okay. First, looking at Anaheim. Anaheim High School's Learning Walk highlighted state-of-the-art community schools, resource center, classrooms, and teaching. Administrators from all over the nation toured the campus and were given an insightful presentation by a student panel. As the quarter ends, Anaheim also welcomes new foreign exchange students from Italy and Reims, France. These students will be engrossed in their community and learn what it is to be in a town. Now let's look into CVA. For CVA, their highlight was their Market Days cultural dance, which was celebrated between Dale and CVA. It not only was a celebration of diverse cultures, but also an opportunity to foster and showcase student entrepreneurship. The Market Day truly was a fabulous experience and day for CVA this month. Now let's look to Cyprus. For Cyprus, this month was an eventful month, and first on February 14th, Cyprus hosted the 8th grade visit where incoming freshmen from Lexington Junior High School experienced campus tours, a high-energy rally, and informative sessions about class options, all while getting a taste of Centurion pride. Their second highlight would definitely be their social justice day filled with soapbox speeches, slam poetry, performing arts, and booths that celebrated student creativity and promoted school spirit. Looking ahead, Cyprus has School Social Worker Week from March 3rd to 7th, Centurion Games from the 17th to the 21st, and California college application results all throughout March. This month was very engaging and exciting for the Cyprus Centurions. Now let's look at Catella. Catella started in March with the Community Resource Fair. The community schools at Catella did an amazing job putting together this event. It served as a one-stop hub for individuals and families to access a wide range of resources from healthcare and education to social services. Next for Kennedy. Kennedy High School hosted their winter formal on February 8th at the Bowers Museum. The dance was highly enjoyed by those who attended, and they look forward to even more upcoming ASB planned events in the future, like prom. Now let's look to Lorea. Lorea High School was opened a new wellness space, providing students with a place to relax, recharge, and focus on their mental well-being. This space is designed to offer a calming environment during school hours, promoting self-care and stress relief. A step forward in supporting student wellness on campus. Way to go, Lorea. Now let's look at Magnolia. Magnolia is so excited to welcome Brooklyn Sharp as their 2025 to 2026 student ambassador at Magnolia. Magnolia is incredibly proud of her and knows that their student voices are in good hands. They are so excited to see what Brooklyn Sharp will do for Magnolia next year. Now let's look for Oxford. Oxford held their last summit of the year with active participation and candy. Students were engaged, fostering a collaborating community. Another highlight was definitely their Sweet Love Week, where they focused on special days like Kindness Days and shared love throughout their campus. Now let's look to Savannah. Savannah's highlight would be their Color Guard team, where they attended a San Diego WGI Regional and Scholastic A Division. Additionally, Savannah continues their opportunity of inviting students from China to visit Savannah campus for a week from February 11th to the 14th. Students engaged as tour guides for the Chinese students to show them student life at Savannah. By the final day, visitors got to express their gratitude and build memorable bonds with Savannah Rebels. Now finally, let's look at Western. Lastly, for Western, they would love to highlight Isaac Gonzalez, placing 8th in the state for wrestling. Senior Isaac Gonzalez went to CIF and truly has made Western so proud. Western's boys soccer also became league champs with a 6-1 record. Congratulations, Western. And that'll be it.
Thank you, Erin. Always a nice report. Very colorful and full of a lot of information throughout the district. Thank you. Next, we have associations. I'd like to recognize, excuse me, we have one guest speaker, a student guest speaker, and that is Alyssa Din. Want to come up to the podium, please?
Our schools aim to prepare students for the future as best as they can. Through the 5 C's...
Can you get a little bit closer to the microphone,
sorry.
please? Thank you.
Through the 5 C's, I noticed that a lot of our schools tend to push that onto our students, which is great. But however, I would like to bring more awareness on driver's education. I have reached out to several of the Board of Trustees, and I spoke with Ms. Randall Trejo via Zoom, and through her perspective, I've learned a lot about what it's like in your position as people in charge of AUHSD and the well-being of our students, and regarding the costs of the possibility of reinstating the courses back into our school. And I would like to speak about an alternative that hopefully everyone can agree with, so it doesn't drain the costs as well, and it's possible for everybody. From my experience and a lot of others, students' experiences, from my perspective, a lot of us don't really know how to get into driver's education. And I think a lot of adults tend to forget that that's a large part of our lives, especially at this age, since it's your norm. But it's a very big part of our lives at the moment, and we need as much resources as we can for reinstating for driver's education. So because reinstating driver's education courses into AUHSD is not yet possible, I request that instead we push more resources and partnerships. And I wasn't actually aware of these partnerships until I spoke with Ms. Guerrero, I hope I'm saying her name right, via email. And she sent me some resources regarding driver's education. And I thought that it was great that we have that, but I hope that we can push that more towards our students as a resource. Because if I had never reached out, I would have never known about it. So that's what I'm hoping to push for. Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. We appreciate your comments.
And Alyssa, you look like you were a pro at this, so good job.
Well done.
No
Well
notes,
done.
that's great. Very good.
I would like to ask if we can move up 10.1, item 10.1 to vote on.
Sure, we can do that since our student board rep has to leave a little early. So, 10.1, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And can we take all 5 at one time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 6-0, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Randall-Trejo. So next, I'd like to recognize some people in the audience. We have Jeff Morgenstern, the ASTA president. I saw him here. There he is. Okay, thank you. He's famous. He gets an applause. But you're all famous. You all get applause. James Goran, the vice president of ASTA. Heather Hutner, the president of CSEA, which is over here. Lacey Monger, the counseling APGA co-president. And we have Lauren Klesker, who is a board member with Fulton Joint Union. Okay, and Jennifer Sasai, she is the ALTA president. There she is in the middle. Did I miss any other association representatives? Good, thank you. So first we will have Mr. Jeff Morgenstern reporting from the association. I didn't see it. I didn't see him walking in, but I was just told Mark Lopez from Orange County Community College District is in the audience. Thank you, Mark. Mr. Morgenstern.
All right. All right, got a new microphone since the last time. All right. Well, good evening, Board President O'Neill, trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, Cabinet, Anaheim community, and staff. Any look at the news today would show that we are in the midst of a real crisis. Our laws and values are being upended, and they're in danger from those who seek to turn the clock back. In this effort, we see a clear and deliberate attack on public education. The dangers of privatization, vouchers, and a coordinated assault on history and truth threatens our collective work as public school educators. The well-being of our communities is at risk, and our families, students, and staff are facing irreparable harm. Alongside our school board and cabinet, ASTA is prepared to face this challenge head-on. On February 18th, ASTA's Representative Assembly adopted a resolution advocating for well-informed and compassionate policy decisions regarding immigration and possible deportation. Together, our school community and Anaheim Union is well situated to meet these challenges, yet there are still gaps, and we can't wait for a labor opportunity to fix them. Through our community schools learning and leading labs, we've demonstrated to educators and their school communities across the country the need to move beyond the traditional model of education. Our community schools team made the effective case that we can't wait to have all of our educational partners be a part of the decision-making process. We've shown that to truly understand our school communities, it's absolutely essential to take the time and effort to do a deep assets and needs assessment. The approach to community schools should instill the belief that we should never do for, but always with our students, families, community partners, and staff. Our efforts have proven that building safe and stable schools through this approach is the right move forward in a post-pandemic, post-election world. Tonight, we began the 25-26 bargaining cycle by sunshining our initial contract proposal. While our work through community schools has encouraged others to move beyond traditional ways of thinking about the classroom, our very own collective bargaining agreement still reflects outdated beliefs. These beliefs inhibited the centering of relationships as a foundation of our safe and stable schools. Now more than ever, our collective bargaining agreement with the Anaheim Union High School District must be brought into line with our current core values. Over the coming weeks and months, our members and school community will engage in many discussions around the details of our contract proposal, and many more conversations than I have time to introduce here tonight. I do, however, want to speak to an issue that's a top concern of our teachers and has a significant impact on our students. We can't wait to address how urgently our contract language needs to include class size guarantees. We are failing our students when we have 45 students in a freshman English class or 41 students in a junior high science class. On the first night of this year's LCAP, Dr. Jose Moreno shared important data about the divergence between graduation rates and A through G completion rates in Anaheim Union. A student needs to earn at least a D to graduate, but must earn a C or better to be A through G compliant. Providing for class size guarantees will ensure that our teachers can provide the individualized instruction and support our students' need to not only graduate, but be eligible for college. As a district, we promise to our parents and community that that all of our students have a supportive learning environment. Yet according to our own LCAP data, students with disabilities have a much lower percentage for graduation rates, A through G completion rates, college and career indicators, and career technical education. It's imperative that we provide class size guarantees for our special day classes and establish guarantees on percentage of special education students in our co-taught classes. We can't wait to move beyond mere promises to our students, community, and staff. Think of the AUHSD educational pledge. It's more than a promise. It's a concrete guarantee to our students and families that we will provide a secure path to college. Yet we continue to overfill classes in a way that directly harms our students' outcomes. We recognize that there are serious pressure points when trying to fit students' classes into a school's master schedule. Engineers have learned that if there's too much steam in a pipe, there must always be a safety valve to relieve that pressure buildup to avoid catastrophic failure. Up to this point, under current contract language, the pressure points of a site's master schedule have been relieved at the expense of our students. That is why we need updated contract language to provide a more balanced approach when trying to regulate the pressure of a site's master schedule. Our students should not have to continue to bear all the ill effects of a stress system. We can't wait to truly live up to our core value of making education work for students and not the other way around. Without updated contract language, we will continue the common practice of issuing massive schedule changes to a large percentage of our students 4 to 5 weeks into the school year. How does this foster the building of relationships between students and their teachers? We must move beyond a system built on promises to a system built on righteous, yet reasonable guarantees. I fully understand what I'm advocating for here tonight. It comes directly from our member surveys, our street data. Difficult conversations will surely ensue around what these reasonable and righteous guarantees should look like. The members of ASTA are well prepared and committed to these difficult conversations. Our bargaining team and executive board are here tonight because they know, along with all of our members, that we can't wait to provide the real guarantees our students deserve. These difficult conversations are no different than the ones our teachers engaged in to endorse and secure the passage of Measure K. Despite raw emotions and strained relationships from last spring, our members understood they had to put the well-being of their students and their community first and made Measure K the first step along a path of genuine collaboration and healing. ASTA is ready to engage all educational partners in honest, collaborative conversations to ensure that Anaheim Union fully addresses these current challenges. We can't wait to reach our full potential by graduating students who will lead their families and neighbors to build a more just and compassionate community. Thank you for your time.
Heather Hutner?
Good evening, President O'Neill, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Mitsuda, Cabinet, staff, parents, students, and community members. Thank you for the opportunity to address you on behalf of classified CSEA members. As I look around me, and as we've heard the words about we can't wait, and I understand and I respect many of my colleagues' message, and we really support a lot of their things about better funding, more stable schools. And I agree, as a state that prides ourselves on being one of the largest economies in the world, we need to spend more on public funding. That being said, on a local level, we really feel like classified staff are the ones that have been waiting. We've waited through all of 23 and 24 for a classified salary study that was never released because of the district tension with the teachers. At the beginning of the 24-25 school year, a new classified salary was done and finally released. And tonight, on the board's agenda, there are the increases for 5 of the 62 positions that were identified as being below the 50%. That leaves 57 additional positions. 15 of those are within CSEA's bargaining unit. These are employees who are underpaid compared to people in a different field. These are employees who are compared to others working in public school districts, doing comparable work in comparable districts, and are found to be paid less than the 50% market average that was set by this board as the minimum level of a fair wage. Classified employees have been waiting for help while more and more tasks have been added to their plates. We pride ourselves on being a district of innovation and actively seek grants to help us achieve this goal, which is great. Community schools grant, fantastic. After all, they pay for me. The community schools teacher receives an extra conference period and a stipend in recognition of all the extra work and time that they spend. While this site senior admin has yet another budget to balance, 2 additional people on the payroll, and more stipends to process with no additional compensation because it's her job. Times this times multiple programs, TUPE, AIM, Title I, 5Cs coach, short-term independent studies, etc. Assistant principals have had more tasks added to their plates, so tasks that our secretaries used to assist with have now become solely their responsibility, like class coverage when there isn't enough substitutes, which is happening more and more. But these issues don't just affect the senior admin. There's HR classified who suddenly have to hire and onboard a large number of arts assistant positions for the arts and music grants. Payroll who has to ensure all of these positions and stipends are paid correctly. Yet over and over, classified staff are told that your workload doesn't matter. Classified staff have been waiting for professional development because even when the LCAP does say paraprofessionals, they are still rarely included in any meaningful training. These are staff that spend their entire day with students. And yet, as a district, we choose to consistently leave them out. Multiple CSEA members this year have had conference requests denied with the response that classified don't go to conferences. These were conferences with trainings on subjects directly related to their job descriptions of the requesting employees. We send certificated staff to yoga retreats, but we can't send CSEA members to learn about compliance when mistakes can have detrimental effects on the district. CSEA members have long been the quiet, supportive force in the background, but we're done waiting. Our underpaid members need salary adjustments now, not in a year. Our offices that are understaffed, even according to your own current policy and HR staffing study, need to be properly staffed now. We will no longer stand back while our members are expected to do more work with less support so that the district can prioritize other demands at our expense. Thank you.
Lacey Munger.
Good evening, President O'Neill, Superintendent Matsuda, AUHSD Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, and community members. Before we start, I want to take a moment to recognize and celebrate School Social Workers Week by expressing our deep appreciation for AUHSD's dedicated school social workers. Counselors value the strong partnership we have with the social work team, as together we work toward a shared mission, which is supporting the mental health and well-being of our students. Speaking of mental health, California has been actively advocating for school counselors to participate in Medi-Cal billing, recognizing that our work extends deeply into the domain of social emotional learning and mental health support. Last year, AUHSD counselors took a significant step towards this effort under the guidance of Heather Hutner, who just spoke, and our SAL counselor on special assignment, Cecilia Soberanis. All 78 AUHSD counselors successfully joined the Paradigm System to begin billing for the vital services we provide to our students. This achievement may not seem groundbreaking to many at first glance, but it is a major milestone, especially for a veteran team like ours, where 3/4 of our counselors have been in the district for 13 or more years. Change can be challenging, bringing uncertainty and questions, anxiety for many of us, but our team has embraced the shift, recognizing its potential to directly impact students and strengthen support systems within AUHSD. Last week, we were pleasantly surprised to get an email from Heather stating that AUHSD Counseling is the only group in the district with 100% of our members registered and ready to bill appropriately, a testament to our team's dedication and adaptability as situations change. Beyond AUHSD's mental health initiatives, I do want to highlight 2 other key programs where AUHSD counselors have been making a tremendous impact, beginning with financial aid and our FAFSA completion rates. Typically at this time of year, we would be reporting final financial aid completion numbers, as the FAFSA priority deadline traditionally falls on March 2nd. However, with the deadline extended another month to April 2nd, counselors now have an additional month to support students in completing their applications. As of March 3rd, 2025, 48.5% of our AUHSD seniors, which is 2,292 students, have successfully submitted their FAFSA, a significant increase from just 29% at this time last year. 44% of seniors have started their FAFSA application but have not yet submitted it. So with this extra time, our counselors are focused on reaching these students and families to ensure they complete the process. Counselors on special assignment at district office, as part of the Anaheim Collaborative Implementation Team, have updated a FAFSA information letter that has gone out to all senior families. And this letter, along with targeted social media posts, has been shared with school sites and across AUHSD platforms to raise awareness about the extended deadline. While all high school counseling teams and college partners contribute to this effort, I would like to give a shout out to our grade level senior counselors who, during this time, have led FAFSA completion efforts at each high school site. They have conducted classroom presentations, small group workshops, and parent nights, and provided one-on-one support to both students and families. Our counselors understand the life-changing impact that FAFSA completion has on students' futures, and we remain committed to guiding every senior with care, persistence, and expertise as we finish out this season of financial aid. Dual enrollment expansion is the other topic that I'd like to touch on tonight, and this is another major area of focus for our counselors as we have expanded the dual enrollment opportunities within our district, allowing students to take college courses while still in high school. Last year, in partnership with North Orange County Community College District, AUHSD applied for and received 2 grants with California Department of Education, specifically aimed at expanding dual enrollment access for underrepresented students, those who might not see themselves as college-bound or who have historically faced barriers to higher education. These grants, which are funded for 3 years, allowed AUHSD to hire 5 additional counselors, each serving 2 to 3 school sites and dedicated solely to supporting students in dual enrollment courses. The results of just 1 year of this effort have been remarkable, and here's a couple of statistics. Fall of 2023, so last year, We had 712 students successfully complete 1,042 college courses, earning a passing grade or higher, meaning they earned either a C or higher grade or a pass within the course. That was without our 5 dual enrollment counselors. Fall of 2024, just this last semester, 1,476 students successfully completed 3,580 college courses, more than doubling participation in just 1 year. Even more exciting is who's taking these courses. We have 9th graders currently taking dual enrollment courses, English learners, students with disabilities, and students experiencing homelessness, McKinney-Vento, the list goes on. But they are all earning college credit while still in high school. This growth is proof that when resources are provided, students will rise to the challenge, and that's what our 5 dual enrollment counselors have provided to our school sites and our current grade level counselors who are supporting in this work. With 2 years remaining in these grants, the impact will only continue to grow, and APJ looks forward to sharing more numbers with you as the semesters continue on. Looking ahead, honestly, there's so much more that I'd like to share with you that counselors are doing, but I'll be back next month with more information. Our counselors continue to bring AUHSD's mission, vision, and core values to life every day. As you continue to visit school sites, please, APJ welcomes and encourages you to stop by, speak with a counselor, and witness their dedication firsthand. Thank you for your continued support of our counselors and the critical work that they do for AUHSD students and families.
Jennifer Sasai.
Good evening, President O'Neill, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Matsuda, Executive Cabinet, students, parents, and school community joining us both in person and online. We would first like to thank our social workers for their special week and month, actually. We've come to find out it is a whole month. From groups to 504s, they make a huge difference on all of our campuses, so we'd like to thank them. Let's also take a moment to celebrate the success of the recent AI Deeper Learning Summit held in Anaheim, where our teachers and district leaders showcased their expertise. This event was not only a testament to our commitment to innovation, but also a demonstration of our ability to adapt and thrive in an ever-changing landscape. The 5th annual Black History Month celebration took place last Friday, February 28th at the Kennedy Performing Arts Center. The evening was filled with incredible performances that highlighted the rich history and contributions of the African American community, making it a truly memorable event. The Sycamore Junior High Advanced Band performed at the SCSBOA Music Festival yesterday, earning the highest possible rating, superior, from a panel of judges. This marks the 5th consecutive year that Sycamore has received this top honor. Held at Kennedy Performing Arts Center, this annual event features bands and orchestras from across our district and beyond. Sycamore students performed beautifully, representing their school with dignity and respect, both on and off stage. And I'd like to remark that the band director is a Kennedy band alum, Mr. Rich Gordon, so we'd like to shout out to him. Gilbert High School continues to serve as a model for alternative education, hosting a visiting team of educators from across the state. Recently, they welcomed teens from Elba Community Day School in San Diego and Back Bay Continuation School in Newport Beach, both of whom conducted a learning walk and were highly impressed by Gilbert's whole child community schools approach. Additionally, Gilbert received exciting news from the Kiwanis Club of Anaheim. This year, the club will award $20,000 in scholarships to Gilbert students in pursuing higher education at trade schools, community colleges, and four-year universities. Loera High School has been buzzing with excitement. Last week, they held their soapbox speech competition where students showcased their powerful voices and perspectives. They also celebrated the grand opening of their new wellness space, which held a special ribbon cutting ceremony, providing a dedicated space for student well-being. Savannah High School recently welcomed 2 groups of international students from China, each visiting for a week. At South Junior High, student achievement was on full display with an impressive 684 students earning honor roll recognition out of a total enrollment of 1,156. Principal Mejia extends her gratitude to President Brian O'Neill for attending and acknowledges the hard work of their ASB director, Ramon Palomino, along with the ASB and PAL students for the dedication behind the scenes. Our schools continue to shine, and these celebrations are a reflection of the dedication of our students, staff, and community. Thank you for your ongoing supports to make these achievements possible. Thanks.
Since I introduced some association members, I want to recognize Alan Walker, who is with our Citizens Oversight Committee. So Alan, thank you for being here. Now, is there anybody here from PTA that wishes to speak? Nobody? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. 7.1, 24-25, second interim budget report. Dr. Nean.
Good evening, President O'Neill, members of the board, Superintendent Matsuda, Cabinet, and members of the public. Thank you so much for being here tonight to hear our updated budget report for our district. Want to kind of give over a theme of what's happening, being proposed for the 25-26 school year. So Governor Gavin Newsom, he released the budget proposal for 25-26 in the midst of one of our most devastating natural disasters. And so many homes were burned down, and actually some of the schools also in those areas are also burned down as well. But he was still able to publish the budget, and overall budget is a balanced budget at this point, and still protected public education as we are funded by Prop 98, and that is critical to what we do here. But the overall California economy is continuing to grow with mixed signals with the road ahead of us. So inflation continues at this point, and then the slowing of the interest rate reductions by the Federal Reserve is impacting the state's housing market. So the latest Fed rate that we're looking at right now, based on the latest ones I'm hearing from the UCLA School of Anderson, is about 4.25 to 4.5%, and they're thinking that rate will stabilize for the next 3 years. Now, if the market continues to drop or different things, the Fed could possibly adjust that. But the housing market, for example, is not really helping, especially in our area, as you'll see our continued declining enrollment due to the pressure from the housing prices as well. So the overall, the budget for next year projects a $17 billion plus at the state level with healthy reserves. And so the governor does assume a steady and a stable national growth overall. And so at this point, we do have a lot of impact that we are seeing that it's actually already coming. The first one obviously is the tariffs. So they're coming ahead, very extremely strong, as well as the changes in the immigration policy as well. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit when we get to the enrollment projections as well. So this is the financial projection, and I do want to highlight what was being proposed at this point. So we can see current year, there's no change from January. The numbers that were being proposed at that time is 1.07 for current year. But you can see for the proposed budget year for 25-26, back at in December, when we proposed the first interim, it was at 2.93%. And now that is at 2.43%. So the number for going to next year, the cost of living adjustment, is already projected lower. And we are hearing that that number will actually be even lower than what we are currently showing you right now. And so that is a concern for us as we do get that cost of living adjustment to our base funding, and that is very critical at this point. There are some good news from the budget. There are some one-time dollars that the governor is proposing. First, it's going to be the Student Support and Professional Development Discretionary Block Grant. And districts can use this money for the rising costs to include professional development for staff, teacher recruitment and retention effort, career pathways, and dual enrollment. As we have heard, we have really increased our dual enrollment numbers as well. So the current estimate is estimated to be at $323 per ADA, and we are projected to receive about $7.6 million if this money comes through. Currently, we are not projecting this money in our budget because there is no guidelines on when the money could be expended until, so we would not know how much to, when to budget for that amount. And so once we get better language, hopefully by the time we propose the budget by June, we should hopefully to get those numbers by then. So that's the first one-time dollars that is being proposed. The next block grant is, this is additional one-time dollars, Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant. And this, so the overall state level is at $378.6 million one time to support Learning Recovery Emergency. And this money is through 27-28. So that's a current projection at about $6.8 million. And as we get more information with this, we will be incorporating that into the budget. But right now, we are just waiting to see if there's any other figures we need to make sure before we budget these numbers. And as we all know, we've been receiving a lot of one-time dollars, almost like $250 million since COVID. And I'm going to show that. With line items for us. So remember when COVID first hit, we had all those ESSER dollars that came through, and we had ESSER 1, 2, and 3. And then also the state level, also with the additional one-time dollars, including the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant as well. And also the Arts and Music Instructional Material Discretionary Block Grant. And I'm gonna show a summary here. These are all the one-time dollars that we have already spent. So the total for this pot is $105 million, and so all this has been spent. You can see they're in detail listed, the funding sources, how much our allocation is, as well as how much was spent per year. So we already have spent all these dollars here, over $100 million at this point. Then the next slide will show you the remaining $144 million. But as you can see, we have expended almost all the dollars as well. We have about $53 million. That was at the end of January 31st, which was end of the second interim period. So we, of the about $250 million, we have spent pretty much the $200 million, and then just the $53 million left that's we have access. So I just want to share that there's a lot of one-time dollars that we have seen, and in my 20 years career, so this is the first time we have seen this much money coming through, a lot of one-time dollars, and we just have to be very careful how we plan to use these dollars. Obviously, with COVID, we were able to do a lot of things with those dollars, but as more and more coming through in the future years, there may not be as many one-time dollars as what we have seen in the past. Right, since we got COVID started back on March of 2020, and so it's basically, this is quite a bit of money that since we have received from both federal government and the state government as well, so both feds and fed and state. We do see there's a lot of risk to the state budget. For example, the stock market volatility, it is wild. You have 600 points up one day, another day 600 points down. It is a wild market at this point. We are also facing extreme weather events, obviously, with a lot of floods as well as the fires in California. That's really not helping with our overall economy because of the insurance market. That could be a very, very tough place to be to come. And there's a possible of the delay of tax deadlines due to the natural disasters. So in certain counties, it's being proposed that they are able to extend their tax deadline, I believe, around to October. So this is going to be the same problem we had a couple years ago when the state already started the fiscal year and we did not get the tax receipts until November of that year. So this continued to be a problem. We're hoping that it's not going to be that much, but if you think about if the entire county of LA is able to do this, and they are a big part of the taxpayer for the entire state, so that could be a problem for us. And then there's a lot of the federal policy uncertainties, the terrorism, immigration as well. And we are continuing to monitor the interest rates, right? So they're looking about 4.5% or so at the federal interest rate. And for example, to get a mortgage, the rate's much higher than what the federal rates are still at this point. So it's really tough for the housing market with that as well. I want to share what the state budget process from January to June. That's when we first received the information from the governor to see what are some of the policies are and some of his proposals. As you can see here, right now we you can see the gold box down there with a second interim report being submitted tonight. As you can see, some of the subcommittee hearings, but the state really doesn't adopt their budget and release other stuff until basically by June, right? And so we are taking our budget to the board on June 5th with the first reading, and then with the board adopting their budget on June 12th, a week later. And once the state adopts its budget, we have 45 days to come back to the board and then readjust those line items as well. And so between now and then, we'll hear different things that will come, and we'll also get the guidance from our county as well as they oversee our budget to make sure we are adopting our budget based on their guidelines as well. And so depending what can be budgeted, and we will budget those line items. And so this is our enrollment projections for our district as well as for the county of Orange. And you can see here, last year we're at 27,000, and this year we have dropped almost 1,000 students, you can see, to 26,000. And we are projected to decline to about 24,800 students the following year. So this is the trend, and we go down to 2033, 34, we are down to about 20,000 students. And so we do, based on our projections, so this is based on, we go back, 3 to 5 years, and we look at those different numbers, and we have software that help us project. So this is based on what we currently projected for. But if the immigration factor does take into play, we do think that that could be a possible factor. And we ran those numbers. Thank you so much, Karen, for running those numbers, that if we were to lose an additional 500 students for next year, right? So right now we're about 1,300 students that we possibly, based on the projections, based on all the roll-ups as well, right? If we were to lose an additional 500 students, what would that budget look like for us? As you know, we're funded based on when students come to school. Now when they're enrolled, it's attendance, and it's based on current year, prior year, or the last 3 year averaging. So if we were to lose an additional 500 students on enrollment next year, the amount of dollars we could lose in the year 26, 27, because next year will be guaranteed from the prior years, we will lose about $3 million. And in 27, 28, we will lose an additional $5.5 million. So every student's coming through our system, when they attend our classes, it does count. And so we wanted to make sure that the public is aware that if there's additional enrollment drop, we are going to have to adjust our budget at that point. But currently, these are the numbers, and we will be watching as we do our month. We do pull the data every month, and we will be looking at the trend to see if we're losing students between even now and May as well. And this is just another way to show, this is from where we were at TIE. So going back about, back to 2011-12, we were at the high of almost 33,000 students. And this is where we are projecting for next year at about 24,800 students. So this first chart here will show you how much dollars we are bringing in for the general fund. So this consists of the unrestricted plus the restricted for our second interim for 24-25. We're looking at about $561 million total revenue we're bringing in. But just want us to see, most of our money is coming from the blue box over there, and that's about 74%, and that's the LCFF, Local Control Funding Formula. That's money coming from the state when our students come to school. So that's the bulk of our funding. You can see our federal funding is about 7%, which is equivalent to about almost $41 million. So we are there is a possibility that we could possibly get some federal funding reductions. So right now, we have talked to the county. They have not said to budget less, but in the past, during the last recession, districts budget about 10% less. So that's something that we may consider. Or if we're hearing other information, then we would adopt the budget at that time. But we probably need to start planning if there's going to be reductions on the federal revenue side as well at this point. And that's something that we are making sure that we're paying attention to that when all the news are coming out as well. So that piece of it, the federal funding, could be something that we want to look at. And then the other ones, the other state revenues, about 14%. And then we have some other local revenues. But bulk of our money is coming from when students come to school. And those are the dollars we want to make sure that we see. And this is the total expenditures for current year, projected to be about $550 million for current year. You can see here all the salaries and all the benefits, as well as the other expenses for our district. So you can see here, this is our total combined general fund, unrestricted and restricted. See where we're at. As you can see here, our current year, revenues at 561, and then the total expenditures 554. So this year we actually have an increase in the fund balance, $7.1 million. But if you can see the out year, starting next year, we have a deficit of $15.8 million, and then the following year a $25.6 million and a $41.7 million in the 27-28. So do want to share that, so current year, we're looking at it, we're not quote unquote deficit spending, but the out years, we're most likely going to do that. And this is the unrestricted, and I want to focus on unrestricted. These are money that comes through, there's no strings attached, there's not a grant, so anything unrestricted comes through here. So if you look at the current year, we're good in the fund balance. Next year, we're still good, but if you can look at the 26-27, $20 million in deficit spending in that year, and then $37 million deficit spending in 27-28. So those are the figures we want to make sure that we're starting to address what are some of the declining enrollment, what has done to our budget, because our revenues are coming in less when students are not here. And this one here is the restricted programs. And as you can see, we've been getting quite a bit of dollars from all the additional one-time dollars, and those will come through here, and all the ESSERs and all that, but we're coming down to a place where we're not getting as much dollars anymore at this point moving forward. And these are some of the commitments that we have. We do this at the adopted budget as well as the first interim, and as well as going to be doing that as well as here. So these are the online items, including the wellness program, classified summer assistance benefits. We also have the site carryovers, technology, and then the board also mandate our district to carry an additional 3% reserve, which is amazing. So we have total, the state requirements 3%, and the board also said we want to make sure we have additional 3%. But just do want to inform, and I'm sure the public understands this too. Our cash flow, for example, we need about 10% reserve each month, right? Because we do have our payroll-wise, it's about 10 months. We do have people who are 12-month employees, but a majority of our folks are about 10 months, because given where the school years are at. And so to just have the minimum fund balance is not going to be enough to even make payroll. And so we also, as you will see in our documents, we do have the cash flow as well for 18 months as required at this point. And so that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Anybody have any questions? I just, first of all, I have a statement to make. On page, I don't know if the general public knows this, but on page 3, we're talking about the financial projection dashboard. And there's 2 line items. There's a CalSTRS and there's a CalPERS, employer rates. And the CalSTRS shows that there's 19.1% is what the district has to pay in the way of taxes, I guess you could call it that. 19.1% of the CalSTRS, of the employees' payroll, we have to pay 19.1% on top of that in taxes. Now, the next line for CalPERS, currently we have to pay 27.05%, but in 4 years it's going to go up to 28.2% of the payroll, total payroll. So that's a huge part of our expenses in the year. Okay? So I just wanted to make sure the general public understood that.
Right, and it was not that long, I think that's a great comment, and it was not that long ago that CalPERS rate was at 13.02%. And basically, since the market has not been doing as well, they keep increasing the rate. And so that is a concern because districts also pay more. And on the STIR side, our employees has paid more. They were at 8.25 and now they're 10.25.
This goes to our collective pensions.
Yes, this is the pensions that we're all the employees, most employees here do have that either in the STIRS, which is the teachers, one plus all the certificated side, and then the classify, myself as well, we're in the CalPERS system, and that has a lot of implications as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, then on page 2, that's sort of like an oxymoron here. It says the governor presents a balanced budget that assumes steady, stable national growth. But then when you turn to page 9, it says federal policy uncertainty, okay, which means it's not stable because we don't know what's going to happen with tariffs. We don't know what's going to happen with immigration. Interest rates could be going up. The market is being crazy right now. So I'm not sure how we can say that we're going to be stable, but yet we're going to be unstable.
So I think that was when the governor released his budget at that time. That was what his assumption of the budget, like the overall economy
Okay, so that was 3 months ago or 2 months ago when that was mentioned.
Correct. So then, yeah,
Okay.
all our numbers right now are from all the releases that was
Okay.
released.
So
Thank you.
That was past. It's not present or the future because we don't need to comment on the future because we have no idea what's going to happen on a daily basis. So
We don't. It's very volatile right now.
yes,
So
very much so. Anybody have any questions or statements?
No, just to state, go ahead. Ask your question.
One quick question. The 2 block grants that you mentioned that are upcoming, are those restricted or unrestricted?
There will be one time, I would assume that you follow, the restrictions will not be as much. I think it's almost like the arts and music block grant. They come through, we're able to pay for various different things.
Okay.
But it will be coming into the restricted funding on the restricted general fund side.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Alfredo?
I just wanted to make a statement. I think I could speak for all of the board. It's just that your department is absolutely amazing because you're given a deadline to come up with. We have to have the second interim when you just got the budget in January, and it's not stable. And then you have to project 3 years out, and we try to project 4 years out all the time. And then you have to get our budget done by the 5th or the 12th. I'm sorry, by the 15th, and you just got the May revision that comes out. It's just amazing how you do it. I know there's a lot of people out there that are helping to project that, but I just want to commend our staff, and every year you help us to understand this extremely complex budget system, and you're always thinking ahead, you're always projecting and helping us to save cost or in the event of having to make adjustments and changes, and I just want to give you guys a huge compliment from the board and from the dais up here, from our.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's really amazing.
Well, Emery, to keep on with what you just mentioned, it sort of goes along to show that our bond rating has gone up.
Yes.
Because of the financial stability.
Yeah, so we were.
Based upon your department and the way you manage the finances.
Right. So, and what they do is, with the credit ratings, we have a call with them, and we have to produce different documents for them. And so the fact that they have confidence in our district, that's how we're able to increase both Standard & Poor's as well as Moody's. And that will also help us when we go out to sell the bonds for the credit rating with the upgraded credit rating. And so, but thank you so much, board. You guys have given a lot, have given a lot of grace to our department as well. And, I do want to thank Karen and Joe. We spent a lot of weekends working on this. I mean, as we get closer, we're like, is there anything else we want to adjust? We want the latest numbers. We want to run additional scenarios. We don't ever want to get blindsided that we did not see that coming, because that's why I wanted to make sure that we understand if we do lose more students, what the budget implications could be, because we don't ever want to be in a boat where we do not know where we're in. And I just also want to share that there are districts right now, there are about 30 districts in the state of California that are either negative or qualified budget that they have filed. There are about, I think it's about 10 districts that are negative, that file negative at first interim. That means they cannot meet current year or next year's budget at this point.
Can you explain the ramifications of those two ratings?
So,
Explain the ramifications of those two designations.
Yes, so negative means basically you are basically going to get a state takeover. You are going to get a state loan, meaning you cannot make payroll. And some of these districts are pretty big. I can't just remember off right now. I just read the article that they are not going to be able to even pay their staff. So they would need to get a state loan. And so there are about 10 districts in the state right now that are in that boat. And the other 20, they're saying that they may or may not be able to meet their obligation. So they could be, most of the time, the county office, so in this county, for example, that would be the Orange County Department of Education, they will send out fiscal advisors to go out to the district starting now when you file a qualified budget to help you to see what can be done. There are districts where when they're getting to a very difficult part that even, because the board's responsibility, and I want the public to know this, you have the fiduciary responsibility. That's why you have to also approve the budget, right? And so it's a very important job, obviously, but when you're at the verge of takeover, they can basically come in and say, they can move everybody out. And that's one of the things that we don't want that ever to get to that point. And that's why we always make sure we also have enough cash flow. And cash flow also, when we, for example, talk to the credit rating, we are very confident in what we do, and we're able to show them the knowledge that we have in our district as well. And we have stable leadership in our district. They know, we know our stuff, and that's extremely helpful when we do the presentations to them.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you, Dr.
I just
Neem.
want to add a gratitude and thank you for what you do. Your job is humongous, and the changeability of it, but the confidence that we have in you and respect and admiration is untold. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to you and your staff for all that you do.
Thank you. I want to thank all my directors. Everybody worked really
Absolutely.
hard to get everything done, so thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, moving on to 7.2. Get a big hand for keeping us solvent here. 7.2, Measure H Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, the final annual report for March 2024 to February 25th. Dr. Nean?
Yes, I'd like to introduce our chairperson, Alan Walker, to come and present to the board. This will be his final report for this bond.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. President O'Neill and fellow trustees, Superintendent Matsuda and your staff, as well as the guests that are present here. Should I take that personally?
It's only 10 minutes.
Just kidding. I don't mind. It's all good. As well as the people online, too. I'm very excited to be here. And this is our final annual report, which I'm fired up about because, as you guys know, probably most of you, I had some real concerns, and that's why I got involved with how things had played out in the past with bonds. So let me get to it. I think you probably all have the presentation there in front of you. Okay, so this is the executive summary that you're looking at in front of you there. And between 2015 and 2025 this year, we met as a committee 36 different times on different campuses as the projects were in process. Very excited to be around it. And I suspect most of you have been out there and seen some of the different projects. It's amazing what has been accomplished, truly is. The general topics in the meetings, typically we would receive the different design and construction of the projects and the updates. We'd receive final cost reports that we'd oversee or view and review, as well as the project budgets. We review the upcoming projects that Measure H was going to be funding, and we received and reviewed the expenditure reports, which was very important. Now, this past month in February, on the 19th, we met at Magnolia in the new cybersecurity building, and I'm sure most of you have not been, if you've not been there, you've seen pictures of it. Amazing. And if any of you folks, guests online or here, have not seen the cybersecurity building, it's really impressive. And I mean it is from a building standpoint, but I mean what it's bringing to the students to allow them to step into that arena of cybersecurity and learn and project a career in it. I'm very fired up about that. So anyway, we met with the district's auditor, Andrew Park, and went through the final year's budget, or audit report, and that was good. Very, very knowledgeable gentleman, shared a lot of different insights with us, which was nice. Flipping on, we're going to the committee members, and some of our committee members, and we have some here tonight. Blanca Haragi and Peggy Cruz Stodhill. Oh yes, sorry. Brenda Soto Bryan. And then also Moses Kim, who couldn't be here tonight. And actually, I spoke with Robert Nelson on the phone, and he had a class that he had to attend in Newport, so he's not here. But it was amazing to have their participation and to have their expertise in each of the meetings that we had. So some of the committee duties, you can see them there, to review the revisions and approval of the committee bylaws, review the current projects and the facilities master plan, visited the sites, and that was really amazing to see the work that had been done. We'll get to some of the pictures, and you'll be excited, I think, to see it. Regular meetings, as we attended those as the committee members, the various reports and information, including annual performance, quarterly expenditures, construction updates. Also reviewed the bond issuances, and we'll talk about that here in just a minute. Reviewed the efforts of the district to maximize the bonds, and I'll talk about that a little bit later too, which I'm very excited about what they accomplished, they being Patty Neely and her team. So in fact, we'll go ahead and flip the page. The different disbursements, we had 3 of them. We had one in 2015, as you can see, about a little over 63 million. And then 2018, 83 million. And then 2019. And that was a total of $249 million that the public gave to us, and pretty excited about what they did there, and we'll talk about Measure K here in just a moment. Anyway, continuing on, you can see, I don't want to, we've taken a lot of time in the past on the different annual reports about some of these disbursements and bond issuances. So you can kind of look at that in your presentations there if you'd like. But bottom line, this bond is closed because all monies have been expended. And all of it was towards projects for Measure H. Nothing outside of that. Not very proud to have oversaw that, and it wasn't really a big problem, quite honestly, because everybody did their job and they did it well. Okay. Then this next page, this is really important to me, and I've talked about it in the past. The state funding that has been in addition to, in other words, matching funds, whether it's just from the state or from grants, the total that Patty and her team stayed on top of and have had the ability to get for this district's 4 updates in the campuses is $133,992,566. Now, out of that, they've already received the $58,336,337. The 75 plus there that's still coming, that's money that we're going to be able to use on more projects in the future. And that's because her and her staff and her team stayed on top of what was out there, and they went and got it. So props to Patty and her team. Okay, yes. So they did diligence. They didn't just rely upon, the public passing the bond. They went after more funds. I'm very, very pleased as a taxpayer. Okay, so let's move on to some pictures. You can see that up in the left-hand corner, that's the new cybersecurity building at Magnolia. And down below, and all the stuff that they've done, it's very impressive. I mean, I got fired up about going and being a student again. Go figure. Okay, so the next page, again, some more of the improvements and modifications and modernizations of Magnolia and their classrooms. The next page is the new practice field that was put in at Western High School. Very nice, and it's already, it's being utilized a lot, which is very exciting. Then we have some pictures and the updates as far as Catella, the pool and the showers rooms. Some of the campuses have got the new marquees, kind of modernization there. That's very nice. Also, the solar panels that have been put in pretty much has it been every campus? Yeah, junior high and high schools. So that's going to cut some costs and help in the future, so we're excited about that. The Culinary Arts Project at Catella.
Wow.
And then also the multipurpose room at Catella. A lot of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and you can look through these. I want to get to this page here that talks about there were over 32 projects that Measure H was a part of. That's very exciting, very exciting. So the total value was $253 million for all of those projects because of some additional funds and such that they were able to get. I say we because I feel like I'm part of their team. Anyway, so some of the campuses, just read through them real quick. Anaheim High School, Ball Junior High, Cypress High School, Dale Junior High. In fact, have you guys seen Dale Junior High? Yeah. Amazing. It doesn't even look like a junior high. It looks like a college. Really nice job there. Catella High School, we talked about that. Kennedy, Loera, Magnolia. Let's see, the Marquise, Oxford Academy, Savannah High School, Orangeview Junior High. I pass there pretty regularly. And they're just wrapping there. In fact, I think they're pretty much done, but it looks really nice what they've done there. Sycamore Junior High, Western High School. Okay, so all of those have been modernized and beautified, I think. This next page here just talks about some of the classroom furniture, and when we first got started, that was the first big project, was classroom furniture. I wasn't that excited about it, to be honest with you. But then we went and saw the furniture, and it's like, wow, it's really nice stuff. Again, students are encouraged and excited when they have new things and the furniture, and very exciting. Okay, so in conclusion, as far as the annual report, and this is kind of the specific stuff that I have to state as the chairman and all that good stuff. So based on the listed activities, the Citizens Oversight Committee advises the public that the Anaheim Union High School is in compliance with the State Education Code there of California. Bond proceeds have been expended on projects set forth in the ballot measure. No bond proceedings have been used for teachers or administrative salaries or other school operating expenditures. Audits have been performed as prescribed by law. And if you want to see any of this part of the report or anything about the committee and what they've done, you can go to the website, the Anaheim Union High School blueprint.us. Okay. Now, I want to, if you'll indulge me here just a little bit, I'd like to shift gears, unbeknownst to Patty. So Nancy, you're not going to have to get her a steak, I guess, because I'm going to probably go over.
You say 2 minutes? No, 10 minutes.
What?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Okay, so not so bad. Anyway, okay, I think it's important and significant enough to make mention. You know, I've come here and reported these annual reports numerous times, and I always mention that Patty Neely and her team have accomplished this stuff. So I think since this is the last annual report, I would like to expose who her team is for recognition purposes. So we have Letty Hauk, who's a senior administrative assistant, Jamie Lundgren, who is the project manager, Karen Orr, who is the executive director of fiscal services, Kunal Shah, and Brianna Cantonar. They actually are with the Cummings construction management team, but they're side by side with Patty in these projects, and they've always been at our meetings to answer questions. Very impressed with Cummings as a support construction organization. Leah Jason, also as a construction service administrator. Jennifer Keys, procurement contract specialist. Ves Ninov, who's the assistant director of construction, and Art Lavenant, who is the assistant director of planning. That is her team, and they crushed it. And I know that's the trendy word, whatever, but they did. They crushed it in what they did. I hope that if you haven't seen some of the projects and what they've done on these campuses, you need to go see it. Because when we were trying to pass Measure H, I walked the neighborhoods, the precincts, and handed out literature. And I had, you know, the less than positive feedback from the neighbors. They say, "Oh, we've not really seen anything." So what? They paved the parking lot at Western. Big deal. A guy actually told me that, and I said, "Well, just hang in there because more's coming." So hopefully he goes and sees what they're doing now. It's incredible. Anyway, so props to Patty and her team. Okay, let me wrap it with this. Again, what I think is some very important recognition. Measure H was $249 million. That's a lot of money. And I want to say thank you to the Anaheim Union High School District voting public that were willing to put trust in the school and give that money, because that's money coming out of their monthly budgets, bottom line, as, you know, taxpayers. But the great thing is in this latest bond measure that was voted upon in November on the 5th with the election, again, bonds have to have a minimum of 55% of the participating voting public. So they have to have a minimum of 55%. Because of the collective energy and the dedication and motivation of folks that were behind the scenes and in front of the scenes helping to pass Measure K passed with 66.94%. That's amazing. Yeah, you bet. That's amazing. And so with just a little bit of recognition for those folks that, I'm going to name some names that were kind of the guiding force of it, but I was so impressed because when we met for phone banking at AST office, or when we were out walking precincts, there were students, just regular students, student athletes, there were parents of students, there were teachers, staff members. It was such a collaborative effort. I love that buzzword. It was amazing. The energy was like nothing I'd been a part of. Even with Measure H, it was fun. It was great. Measure K was even exceeded that. It was pretty impressive. Okay, so some of the folks that I think need recognition for just devoting their time and their energy is Mike Matsuda, Nancy Nien. Now, Rhonda Amore and Leticia Ramirez, they were two of the representatives for the consulting company that helped us kind of strategize what would be the best techniques and the best things to do and where to focus our energies. Very helpful. In fact, Leticia, she was at every phone banking session. She was out at as far as I know, she was out at all of the district walking when we were walking and dropping information. She was at all of that, so she really invested her time too. Tom Barraza, who was a co-chair for the Measure K committee. Then there was Lisa Eck and Jeff Morgenstern from ASSA. They kept things organized when we were there with phone banking. That's huge. It went so smoothly. Then Jaron Freed, believe it or not, he was there. He was killing it. Jason Collar, Rudy Acevedo, and our own Robert Salvador. Salvador. No.
I've heard salad bar, Salazar. It's good.
Sorry, brother. But I tell you what, it was exciting to be a part of it, and I really want to thank the Anaheim Union High School District voting public for, again, putting their trust in the district. And the bond is like for $496 million. So if I look at what you guys did with the 249, it's going to be phenomenal. I can just imagine. I can hardly imagine what they'll do with this. So props to Anaheim Union High School District. Again, the reason I even got involved, 2012, I think when it was because of my concerns. I grew up in the district. I mean, I've been in Anaheim Union High School District's area since 1961. Probably most of you weren't even around then. But, went to Orange View Junior High School and Western High School. I'm so proud to see what you guys have done to the campuses, and I know the students have to like it as well. So thanks for all you've done. I feel good as a chairman of the Oversight Committee. I think it was amazing what they accomplished, so thanks.
Alan, on behalf of the board, I want to thank you and your team for the number of years that you've put in on this. I call it a project, but it's a loving project, I can tell, especially for the district. Again, thank you for you and your team. We're going to give you some certificates here in a second. We're going to recognize you. But I also want to say that the board is looking forward to the final independent audit for the 24-25 fiscal year, and that'll be in January of 26. So that's the wrap up of that. So we're looking forward to that. We have a little ways to go before then. But between now and then, can the board come into the center, and we're going to make some presentations here?
I'm going to have to stay here. It's too much for me to go down there.
So first, I'd like to recognize Alan Walker for his dedication. Alan? And it was mentioned Robert Nelson. I don't think he's come in since. No, he's not here tonight. Blanca Jarugi. Peggy Cruz Stadkeely. She's not here. Okay. Brenta Soda Bryan. Jesse Alvarez, not here. And Moses Kim is not here. So we'll get those to them. Thank you. moving on to 7.3, Orange County Asian Pacific Islander Community Alliance. Dr. Freed?
Yes, it gives me great pleasure to bring up Dr. Dela Cruz, who will introduce our team of presenters from Ocapica, one of our trusted partners and friends.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President O'Neill, distinguished board members, Superintendent Matsuda, Cabinet, and our community members. It's my pleasure to introduce Ocapica. They're going to do a brief presentation on their program, Luna, and I'm going to bring up John Gutierrez and his team. Thank you so much.
Hello and good evening. Again, Superintendent Matsuda, President O'Neill, and Cabinet and Anaheim community. My name is Jacqueline Cortez. I'm the program manager of Ocapica's youth department. So we're really excited to talk about Luna today and what it looks like in the district. And go to the next slide here. For our journey for today, we're going to talk about why Luna. So why is this important? What is Luna? And then we'll show you a Luna video, actually, which is a few minutes. So you can see some of our Luna leaders from the different schools. And then we have some Luna leaders here who are going to be talking about what their impact has been over the past year and a half that we've had this program, and then some of their experiences.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm John Gutierrez. I'm the Director of Youth and Housing Programs at Ocapica. I'll give you a little bit of background about how Luna came to fruition. We've been a partner with the district for probably 20 years, and we've been running youth programs and mental health programming and services concurrently for about 15 years now. And I'll say through Rooted, which is our leadership development program, over the last 5 years, we've had students directly voicing a need for ongoing mental health education and counseling services. And at the same time, as you can see on the screen, we're becoming more aware of increases in both suicide and suicidal ideation amongst youth, and especially in the Latino community. So we've been fortunate to work with Dr. Cruz for many years now on multiple projects, both youth and mental health related. We pitched Luna to her as an idea to connect students, kind of bring about togetherness, increase peer mentorship opportunities, and like a personal goal of mine was to have quicker mental health referrals, quicker and easier access to on and off-campus mental health resources. So that Dr. Cruz helped us refine our proposal very quickly, give us valuable feedback. We applied for this grant in May 2023. We were awarded funding in August 2023, and Luna started immediately in September. We had a lot of help from community school coordinators and just started recruiting youth immediately. And I'll introduce Jenny Correa, our program coordinator, who has been running Luna at the high school level since its beginning.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Correa. I am the high school program coordinator for Luna. Our Luna program has been developing mental health awareness and peer mentorship with a focus on Latino youth in both junior high and high schools in the Anaheim district. There are 86 students trained as Luna leaders this year alone, and combining last year's Luna leaders, we have over 100 students that are trained to be mental health ambassadors for their own campuses. We will now show you a video that we filmed at our Luna retreat where Luna leaders will share the impact that Luna has had on them. And if you could please click on that link so we are able to watch the video.
Do you want to describe what we're going to see?
Yeah, so our students had a Luna retreat where they all got together, and then what we do at those programs, at that event is all of the students from both junior high and high schools, it's one of the few moments where all the schools are together, so they're able to bond with each other, create peer connections. They did have a bonding moment where high school students and junior high had to have a conversation just to get to know each other more. And I think it's working, so we can just, we'll just watch it now. So I'm sure the video explained everything much better than I can. But we're just very proud of our students. And yeah, this is just kind of a video just to show you all what we do and how it has affected our students. So Luna is on campus at 8 AUHSD schools, as I have mentioned. So these are the number of Luna leaders at each site. So at Dale Junior High, there are 10 Luna leaders. At Sycamore Junior High, there are 9. At Ball, there are 7. And at Brookhurst, there are 6. At Magnolia, which is the school with the most students at the moment, there's 20 Luna leaders. At Savannah, there is 16. At Loera, there are 13. And at Anaheim, there are 5. And I will go ahead and introduce one of our Luna leaders, Anayeli.
Hello, my name is Anayeli Labra, and I'm a current senior at Anaheim High School, as well as a first-year Luna leader. And today, I'm going to discuss Luna leaders and our impacts. So, as you can see, from February 2024 to February 2025, over 1,000 AUHSD students have attended wellness spaces. So far, 76 wellness spaces have been facilitated after school by our Luna leaders at 8 different schools. At our wellness spaces, we do promote resources such as self-referral forms for short-term therapy through OCAPICA. Through doing this, 60 students have referred themselves. Out of those 60 students, 26 students have received therapy through OCAPICA, and 12 of them have been linked out to long-term counseling. For the remaining 36 students, access to therapy was blocked due to minors needing parental consent to receive these services, and this just highlights how important it is for programs like Luna to exist on campuses to help break the stigma surrounding mental health. Thank you. And now I'll pass it to Andres.
Hi everyone. Before to start, I would like to say that it's a big honor for me to be here. And okay, my name is Andres, and I am a 12th grade Luna leader at Lower High School. I wanted to be a Luna leader this year due to the impact that the wellness spaces had on me last year. Every month when I attended the spaces, people will be talking about their problems and how to solve them. And it taught me how to be resilient. I am an English language learner, and these Luna spaces help me feel comfortable having conversations with people in English, with the trust of knowing they will embrace me and not make fun of my accent. Now, as a Luna leader myself, through the mental health topics we talk about, I see that students live with a new perspective and feel heard. I really love that Luna is a part of me, and I hope that more next generations get involved in this program, so people like Jenny or Jacqueline can send them on a good path forward. Sorry, thank you so much.
Good evening, board, superintendent, everybody. Good to be with you guys. Talk about one of my favorite programs of the last 2 years, and that is Luna. So for the last 2 years, Luna has been an incredible addition to our campus. As a coordinator, I have a unique perspective on the many ways that Luna has positively impacted our school community. From our 7th grade Luna leaders who have found a sense of belonging and connection within the program, to our 8th graders who have grown into confident advocates using their voices to promote mental wellness and encourage their peers to seek support. Whether by visiting a wellness space, we host wellness spaces after school like everybody else, and also during lunch. Speaking with a counselor or completing a therapy referral, Luna is making a positive impact. Even for students who may not directly visit the wellness space, they're continuously surrounded by Luna's positive messages and invitations, reinforcing the idea that mental health matters and that seeking support is both normal and encouraged. Through consistent programming and messaging, our Luna leaders and our partners at OCAPICA, along with our mental health team at Sycamore and across all the other sites, are keeping these critical conversations alive month after month. For our staff, Luna is an invaluable resource, complementing and enhancing the work that we do to create a safe, welcoming school environment that nurtures and supports the whole child. The OCAPICA team brings expertise, consistency, and a deep commitment to student well-being, expanding the resources and the opportunities that are available to our students and strengthening our collective efforts to support their social, emotional needs. So thank you for your time. Thank you for supporting Luna and our partnership with OCAPICA. Thank you to our Luna leaders and to our amazing partners at OCAPICA for bringing this to our campuses and doing an amazing job with it. So good night. Thank you.
Hello again. Now I would like to share my testimony. For me, Luna has become more than just an extracurricular activity. It has improved my mental health and has shown me the impact I can make in my community. Through Luna, I've discovered a passion for psychology while learning about important topics that often get overlooked in traditional education, such as suicide prevention, drug abuse, domestic violence, and gender identity. Understanding these issues made me realize how important it is to provide wellness spaces on campus. Luna also helps students access resources, which are often not discussed in schools, like the statewide Never Bother campaign, normalizing seeking help. As a Luna leader, I've had the opportunity to connect with Luna leaders across the district, sharing stories and experience that have made me feel understood and empowered. Seeing the impacts of these conversations on my peers has increased my desire to continue advocating for mental health awareness and supporting others in their personal wellness journey. Oh, and fun fact, my younger sister is actually a Luna leader as well at Dale Junior High. Thank you for your time tonight. There are more slides showcasing our Luna leaders if you'd like to view them at another time. But for now, we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions?
When do the Luna leaders meet, or the Luna organization meet? How do you guys organize that?
Yeah. Each school has a wellness space and a meeting once a month that I'll never know the specific dates, but they alternate. We have it basically staggered. So the groups meet before the space to discuss what they'll be doing and plan the activities. And then they advertise the space for the rest of the month until that actual date. So monthly at each school.
And then how do you get students, do you know what I mean? How do we destigmatize this whole mental health thing and then get students to come to the space?
They do a pretty good job at advertising it, whether it's on campus or through social media. I don't know if anyone has any more specifics. I think probably the bigger issue we have had with stigma is with the parents, not so much with youth. Yeah. Okay. So we have the demand for Luna from the students has been almost more than we can handle. We just kind of say yes to everyone, but we never anticipated having, I think, 85 students at one time in the program, but we just wanted to include as many people as we could.
I also just wanted to make one note. We do, through the ambassador program that we have at each school site, we do have what's called mindfulness reps. So I don't know if you guys were aware of that and how maybe we could work together with the mindfulness reps. And I know that some other schools also have clubs for mental health as well. So I'd like to see if we can connect the dots a little bit more, and then especially the work that you guys are doing are great. And I love the fact that you are connecting with a feeder school because of your sibling and everything. So congratulations.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anybody?
Just a huge thank you to Okapica. We usually see Okapica supporting one type of student or a couple of types of student, and so branching out to the Latino community is, I didn't know that you were doing that. And during these tumultuous times in our lives, I think that this is a fantastic idea, and it's an example to our community. It's an example to the world of how we branch out and we connect the dots, no matter what you look like. And so I really commend you for that. Students, you are absolutely amazing. And thank you for coming up and giving us your testimonial. Sometimes grown-ups come up and tell us what they're doing, and we believe them, but it has more of an impact when it's coming right out of your voices, out of your mouths, to let us know how it makes an impact on you. And also our adults that are helping in this program, it really impacts them too, and it gives them the drive to continue. And I'd like to see this continue. Thank you.
I would like to add a thank you. The timeliness of this whole activity, the effect that COVID had on our society and the world, it affected everyone in different ways. The need for mental health today, in my lifetime, I don't think it has ever been greater. And we've gone through wars, etc., but the whole of what we are living in at these times with the international, national, local, the effect on our communities and our schools, and the love that you extend to these young people, There's no greater price, and I can't thank you enough. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing.
Yes, I just, it's very good. I just wanted to echo all the comments from my colleagues. Thank you for being here tonight and presenting on Luna. And it's great to see that there's a wide range of Luna leaders from 7 all the way to 12. So thank you so much for your impact in our campuses.
Yes, and as you were speaking earlier, I was trying to connect the dots because I wasn't familiar with Luna. I live near a street called La Luna, so sorry. And when Mr. Hoshi asked about, sort of connecting the dots and how it works, so I'm assuming that all I've called them almost ambassadors from the group, are just walking around the campus and talking. I'm sure they are advocating what you're trying to do, and that where the wellness space is and how it works and how anybody is welcome there. So it's not just broadcasting through the online and posters and that. So thank you for the students being out there on the campuses and advocating for your groups. And thank you for your presentation tonight. Student voices are very important here. So thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, one other question. How much was the grant worth?
It's 2 years, $500,000 from the Department of Public Health, state level.
Very good. Nice round figure. Very good. Thank you. Okay, next is public comments. At this time, we open to the public to make comments. They have a 3-minute window to speak, and our parliamentarian here has the timer. The first speaker, his name is Ron. Is Ron still in the audience? Here he is. Okay.
You guessed it, I'm from Western. It's been a while since I've been here. 10 years ago was the first time I was here, when I was the president of the Alumni Association. The last 4 years, I've just been the fundraiser, but stupidly, I am now the new president again. So the first thing I want to do is I want to thank you. 10 years ago, we started advocating for a fence, for a field, for the gym. Thank you. You guys came through. You did all that. You're not done. And I'll be coming back to the meetings regularly to ask for more. You can count on that. Also, I have some bad news if you're from Anaheim. Western played Anaheim in football since 1959. We won 36 times. They won 24. We won the last 12 in a row, and they quit. They don't want to play us anymore. I called up the AD. I called the principal. I did everything. And I says, you can't dumb it down. Well, they did. So I'm asking you, Mr. Matsuda, to step to the plate. This is a tradition. This has been around forever. Since Western was Orangeview and a junior high, they beat us 12 times in a row one time. We didn't quit. We came back and we battled, and we're just a better team because we work harder, and I told that to the AD. I said, go to your alumni association and raise money and get better players. And they haven't called me back. Lastly, one of the first things I'm going to ask for as the new president of the Alumni Association is, what about Handel Stadium? I heard a rumor that in 2025 you're going to begin to do something there. And hopefully that's going to happen. Mr. Matsuda, you owe me lunch. We can talk about it, okay? I want to thank you all. I'm looking forward to this. And Ron, you must be smart because your name is Ron, like me. We met at the football game, and I'm looking forward to work with you because you're our representative, to take Western to new heights. Now that Orangeview is coming over, it's going to be a great situation. We will be everywhere. We had our first meeting last night, and Orangeview was there. So we're going to invite everybody. We're going to be inclusive of everybody in the community. Now that Anaheim doesn't want to play the top dog, we're going to take their spot. Thank you very much.
Next speaker is Victor Ward. Here he goes.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent. First, I wanted to say thank you for your service. My company has created something that's called Real Time, which is a digital video yearbook, which allows students to upload their own pictures, videos, music, and then download their own pictures, videos, and music, or their friends, transforming the traditional one-size-fits-all yearbook into something that's really personal and memorable. We're not trying to get away from the traditional yearbook, but just trying to supplement it. And one reason that we think supplement is needed is, well, I think the best way is for me to tell you a story. About 30 years ago, I was a long-term sub in the Oakland Unified School District. And I had a 5th grade classroom. It's graduation. All the kids are singing, "I Believe I Can Fly." This is a great time. People are crying, I'm crying. But if you think about it, graduation is missed by the traditional yearbook every single year. And the other thing that you'd never get in the traditional yearbook is, you know, one page doesn't really do justice to your football program or your wrestling program or any of your arts, media, or arts music programs, your VAPA programs. All those things are great, you know, again, not trying to get rid of the traditional yearbook, but it's so much better to have a video. You know, they say picture is worth 1,000 words, and if my math is correct, a video, about a 1-minute video, is worth about 2,000 pictures. So it's pretty awesome. And the last thing that I'll say is, with Real Time is something where it qualifies for Prop 28 money, and schools will be able to use that. If they sold it, then they'd be able to raise money, raise funds, transforming the restricted funds to something that's more general. Thank you very much for your time.
Next person is Virginia Arvian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Virginia Arvista Sanchez. I am a past parent of AUHSD, a current parent, and a future parent, as I have a student coming in next year. And I'm here on behalf of Sacred Path Indigenous Wellness Center as well, looking to gain an MOU with the school district. I've been working alongside Mr. Lara from Gilbert High School, and I initially contacted him because I had seen a flyer in regard to a Native task force. And so being a parent, I know that, you know, the students feel very isolated. The Native American students in the school district feel very isolated, and that's something that I kind of want to put an end to. Our organization has done a lot of research within the Native American community in the United States. And so one of the things that we found is that as we help our youth get connected to their community, and as we help them have a stronger sense of identity, we've noticed that they've had less mental health challenges, and they've also been able to either reduce or never use substance use. And so those are some of the long-term effects, but one of the things that we would like to start off with is having continuous meetings with these students, so that way they can feel a sense of connectedness with each other and also with the larger community. Thank you.
Next speaker is Alam Abdullah.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Alam Abdullah. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for providing the Ramadan kits to the Muslim students observing the month of Ramadan. As a Palestinian American parent who, like many others in my community, has witnessed and experienced the painful reality of discrimination, unfortunately, my son recently became a target of discrimination within his school. As a parent, it was deeply troubling to see him subjected to an environment where he felt unsafe and unwelcome. I want to acknowledge the district's efforts in addressing the situation. It is reassuring to see that steps are being taken in the right direction to ensure that my son feels seen, heard, and valued. I truly appreciate everyone who has been working with him to create a more inclusive and understanding space. I believe that we must take proactive steps to prevent incidents like this from happening again. I urge the board to implement district-wide religious and cultural sensitivity training for all staff members. Education is the key to fostering an environment where all students, regardless of their background, feel safe and valued. With greater awareness and understanding, we can work together to ensure that no student, no matter what background they are, has to endure the pain of discrimination. Thank you for your time and commitment on working to making our schools a more inclusive place for all students. I appreciate your leadership in working to ensure that every child, including my son, has the opportunity to learn in an environment of respect and dignity. Thank you.
Mato?
Kualito Taki, good afternoon, buenas tardes, Nitokan Masa, Nitokan Tekpat, from the Mexica tribe. They know us as Mexicanos, Mexican indigenous peoples. I want to thank you all, and I was at a walkout. I was coming from Euclid Street. I don't know what was going on. I saw a lot of students walking from Savannah this way down Lincoln, and I seen a lot of Mexican indigenous kids, Chicana indigenous kids. And I'm pretty sure there was a state-recognized tribal member in between all of them. We looked the same, and I was, what's going on? And I heard walkouts, and I saw signs, and they were protesting for their parents, for our fathers or mothers that are undocumented, against ICE, because I know there's a lot of fears. A lot of students walked out. It reminded me of when I walked out from Catella High School, when I first seen a beautiful lady doing Mexica Aztec dancing at Catella High School when I was 13 years old in 1993. So that being, I heard some of the speakers speak, and I think it's time that we do support, I believe it's item 10.25. And it is true. I'm very thankful that my grandpa, my abuelito, taught me oral tradition of where I come from. And thanks to that tradition, thanks to clubs like Mecha, I was the president of Mecha at Anaheim High School. It really helped me create a high self-esteem, even though I went to a high school called the Colonists, which is not a really good term. It's very degrading, very distasteful term. I don't want to get into details. We all know what they did to us, to our ancestors. My grandpa was teaching oral tradition. So thanks to my grandpa, thanks to Mecha, and to advanced guitar, creative writing, and choir at Anaheim High School, thanks to Mr. Ingram, a surfer teacher, taught me how to play the guitar. Those things helped me, and knowing who I was, I never really called myself Hispanic or Latino. Hispanics are people from Spain, Latinos are people from Italy, Columbus and Cortez, colonists. So I really encourage you that you take the time and really think about this. I don't know if it's going to be a voting agenda item. If it is, I hope that you vote yes. I still got a minute, or is it? Oh, 1 minute. But thank you so much, and I'm glad that with some of the police officers, we took initiative to take care of the students. I know there was a police officer that tasered one of the junior high female students from Anaheim High School, or I'm sorry, not Anaheim, one of the junior highs. So I had to be in the middle and protect the children and tell the officer, we got to work together, so that's the point. We must work together, because that will create high self-esteem, and having these type of programs, 10.25, will help succeed and to graduate and go to further graduate with degrees, high masters, PhDs, doctor's degrees. Thank you so much. Gracias.
Ms. Arvisu?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sitlali Arvisu. I'm a descendant of the Gabrielino Tongva and the Genyo Kumeyaay people, a descendant of the people of this land. The boundaries of this land of our people extend from the Santa Susana, San Gabriel Mountains down to Aliso Creek and over to the 4 Southern Channel Islands. I want to speak tonight in support of the memorandum of understanding that's going to be proposed between the school district, hopefully, and Sacred Path Indigenous Wellness Center, which is a new organization in this area The organizations that service Native community are few and far between. In Orange County area, there was the last one that fully serviced our community became defunct about 15 years ago. And since then, that was the Southern California Indian Center, and since then, the programming in this area has been non-existent, with the exception of Walking Shield, which is another organization that provides primarily workforce development. So it doesn't really address the needs of our youth. In my experience, having been born and raised in Anaheim and having attended Walter School, Magnolia High School, many of my siblings and my nieces and nephews and my own children attend Magnolia and Dale and other schools. So our experience, as Virginia said, is one of isolation. It's very difficult to be a community when there's a lot of erasure. There's a feeling that we're invisible. And so having an awareness as a school district, in education, it's very lacking. We've had personal experiences in my family of inaccurate information, offensive information being distributed by the teachers in the school district from elementary to high school level, and that needs to stop. That's a separate issue, but I would like to express the fact that I want to echo what she's mentioned, that the community, these youth really need to feel supported and feel a community, and so I would hope that that memorandum of understanding would help delineate a future for a relationship with the school district and for them to find support and resources to help support these students. And furthermore, I do support what the brother said over here about changing the name of the colonists at Anaheim High School. Thank you all for your attention.
Okay, that's the last of our public comments. Moving on to 10.2, resolution number 20. Pardon me? I'm sorry, I'm not used to that. It's just a little bit. I'm gonna have to make the letters bigger next time. Superintendent and staff report, number 9.
Yes, I have no report.
I have a couple quick things. First of all, March 13th is our soapbox finals at Loera High School. We encourage all of you and, of course, our public to attend. And just as a reminder for folks who aren't aware, our soapbox finals is connected to our work that we're doing around civic engagement with all of our schools being California democracy schools. Students engage in performance task assessments around creating a soapbox speech or a TED Talk where they take an issue or a topic that they care about. They do the inquiry and research around that topic, and then do usually a gallery walks, and then they ultimately do a writing about the pros and cons of that topic, right? The one perspective versus the counter arguments, and then they do a speech around that topic with most importantly a call to action, something to make that topic or issue improve or better. So that the finals, each school went through a process in the finals. So the proclaimed best soapbox speeches at each school will be competing at Loera next week. Also, April 5th, when we come back from our spring break, we have our annual STEAM-a-Palooza event. So I'm encouraging all of you in our community to be a part of that. It's a fantastic day where our students across the district are showcasing what they're learning and doing in their classrooms, whether it's soapbox speeches, robotics competitions, our VAPA programs are there performing. Just a lot of great things going on. It's not just showcase on our students and the amazing work they're doing, but of course the incredible teachers and staff that are providing these experiences with our students. So that's one piece. And I did want to provide, I'm sorry, thank you. And that's at Magnolia High School on the Saturday, the April 5th, I think it's from 9 to noon or 9 to 1. It's a great day. The other thing I wanted to just clarify, something I heard during one of the reports about a yoga retreat. Just to clarify, we do not have a yoga retreat, so I'm not sure where that came from. We do have conscious communication training through AIM, our awareness and motion partner. That's formerly Mindkind. So we are sending 4 of our principals to a training where they're doing deeper with conscious communication and the mindfulness practices. As you know, with mental health being a center point of our presentations today, this is something we're doing to support our staff with the executive coaching in the way that they lead and serve their communities and their sites. So it's powerful training, but I'm not quite sure where the yoga retreat came in, but it's an AIM retreat that's grounded in that work that we've been doing.
No report.
So just wanted to make an announcement. Last week we had the Booster Club training that was very well attended by many of our parents. About 60 parents showed for that training. And then there's one in person coming up next week on Wednesday, March 12th at 6 p.m. in the La Palma room. There was an RSVP that was sent out already, so please do sign up. And so far we have about 70 parents that signed up. So we're very excited that the parents are coming to our trainings.
That's for booster training.
For Booster Club training. So it is a requirement that any Booster Club in our district need to send at least one person to come to that training. So we encourage, so we had one virtual, that was last week, and then one in-person next Wednesday. And so we do need the RSVP so we can make sure we have enough space for everybody. Thank you.
Just want to remind everyone our third LCAP session is Thursday the 20th at 6 o'clock. And we want to thank everyone that's come out to the first two, all of our community, staff, parents, students, everyone. So we really appreciate your support. And just so everyone knows, we have a couple teams right now involved in the state playoffs playing right now. I think one of the games might have already concluded. Kennedy girls basketball is in the second round of the state playoffs, and Anaheim boys soccer is in the semifinals for the state playoffs. So hopefully there's some promising results by the end of the night.
Thank you. Okay, now we can move on. 10.1 we had pulled forward earlier, so we're now on to 10.2. Resolution 2024/25-B-13, adjustments to income and expenditures, general fund, and resolution number 2024-25-B-14, adjustments to income and expenditures, various funds, and the 24-25 second interim report.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? And this is a roll call vote. So Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. Next, 10.3, resolution number 2024-25-B-15, zero emission school bus and infrastructure incentive project grant.
So moved.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. Discussion? Okay, this is a roll call. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. 10.4, resolution number 2024-25-F-03, authorizing filing of applications for state allocation board administered programs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Absolutely, yes.
And Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. A few more resolutions here. 10.5, resolution number 2024-25-E-20, Autism Awareness Month.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second?
We have a roll call vote. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi.
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo.
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero.
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0.
Quick statement.
Yes.
I was just reading an article about Autism Awareness Month and the difference between awareness and tolerance. And I just thought that, we talk about, having an awareness month and having our students in our classrooms and I just feel like I just would urge a lot of folks to really start doing some research and thinking about the difference between being aware of students with autism and then kind of balancing your tolerance of awareness of students. There's a big difference with that, and I think these students need a lot we were talking about feeling included and feeling safe on campuses, and I think that we need to go a little bit deeper with our awareness on that. Just my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 10.6, resolution number 2024/25-E-21, Cesar Chavez Day.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 10.7, resolution number 2024-25-E-22, National Child Abuse Prevention Month.
So moved.
Second.
So we have motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, this is roll call. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. 10.8, resolution number 2024-25-E-23, Arab American Heritage Month.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, this roll call vote. Mrs. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. 10.9, resolution number 2024-25-E-24, Take Down Tobacco Day.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call. Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 5-0. Last of the resolutions here. 10.10, resolution number 2024-25-BOT03, compensation for board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote. Ms. Smith?
Abstain.
Mr. Hoshi?
Aye.
Ms. Randall Trejo?
Aye.
Ms. Guerrero?
Aye.
And I vote aye. That's 401, excuse me. Next, business services, 10.11, Agreement Alliance Environmental and Compliance, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? 5-0. Educational services, 10.12, Revised Board Policy 8601, Electronic Signaling Devices, first reading. This is information only. 10.13, Revised Board Policy 7605, Arts Education, second reading.
So moved.
Second.
So it's an action item. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.14, Adoption of the Strategic Plan for Arts Education.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion?
Thank you for answering the questions that we had on this, and looking forward to seeing this all come to fruition.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.15, Public Hearing, New Course Submissions for the 25-26 school year. We open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, we close the public hearing. 10.16, Public Hearing, Ethnic Studies Courses. This is a public hearing. We open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing no one, we close the public hearing. 10.17, Home to School HTS Transportation Reimbursement Plan.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.18, Piggyback for Vape Sensors, Software and Related Services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
I had one quick question.
Sure.
Can someone speak to how the sensors operate and the possibility to expand to other sites?
Yeah, so I want to give Robert Salazar and Eric Ringwood, I know, a big shout out. They did a lot of work behind the scenes on this. But the vapors sensors, they are installed in the restrooms, and so they're able to detect the senses from vaping or tobacco products.
So it's not a camera.
So it's not a camera. There's no cameras in the restroom. The cameras, as you know, from our security system are outside restrooms. So what the sensors are connected to the apps or on our administrators' phones and campus safety aides' phones. So if something alerts, they notice right away. They can go to the restroom. If they don't get there in time, they have access to the camera to see when students entered or left the restroom. So it's not just something to reduce vaping in terms of catching, but ideally it's more proactive in preventing folks from doing that. We know many years ago, I know Mr. O'Neill knows when we used to have the dogs, that was a proactive measure, but they were only there once a month, once in a while. This is every day. Those are the two schools that we're asking for the pilot, and it is a pilot. We have a school obviously in the east and a school on the west, and then the idea is what we learn from this experience will determine with the board if we want to begin to expand. The main cost is the initial cost in installing the software and the sensors. After that, the ongoing costs are actually pretty minimal.
And just a couple more things. It also detects like unusual, like abnormal noise, so more than the normal levels of noise. So a possible fight or something in the restroom. Because it integrates into our camera systems, all bathrooms have a camera right outside of the restroom, then it could capture who's coming out during that time. And then obviously those students can be identified by admin and other folks. So it has a couple of other perks as well to help keep our campuses safe.
Sorry, follow-up question to that. So is it the same vendor that Anaheim used?
We don't have these sensors in our school. This is new.
No, I thought Anaheim had a
Vape sensors?
yeah.
No.
No.
Oh, they never.
This is new.
Stand corrected.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 10.19, grant acceptance agreement, the Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comment? Seeing none, it's just a wonderful opportunity here. So we thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 5-0. 10.20, agreement, Benjamin Gonzalez.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
I just wanted to add that I heard that this will provide an additional space for students we're capturing concerts, we're capturing choral events on film, and from what I understand, this is going to help with our capstone projects, because if we're capturing these students, mostly mom and dad get the pictures, right? And it's out of focus or whatever, and the students, can't use that film. So now we're going to have somebody that's professional doing this, and then students can put this on their portfolios for job interviews and resumes and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely, Mr. Andrew. You nailed it. Our performance task assessments, you could argue that what we see in our VAPA programs, our visual and performing art programs, across the board are performance task assessments all the time. And so when a student is performing at that choir concert or that band concert or in the play that's on the stage, they are actually demonstrating their performance task assessments and the things that we believe in our district, our drivers, the 5 Cs, the voice, purpose, et cetera. And so this is a way to capture that. So you're right, it can be a part of their digital portfolio or a capstone program. So when they do their showcase, they can use that as evidence to support how they're growing and building their 5 Cs, their student voice, and their tech skills.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to, that was a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 10.21, agreement, Donald Brinegar.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.22, agreement, John Sutton.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.23, agreement, Music Education Consultants, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.24, agreement, the Joyful Child Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.25, community service agreement, Sacred Path.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. There you go. Agreement, 10.26, agreement, Blue Jacket Sign Company.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 10.27, School-Linked Partnership and Capacity Grant Service Agreement, Orange County Superintendent of Schools, Department of Health Care Services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 5-0. 10.28, initial contract proposal, AUHSD, to the Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association, ASTA. That's information item. 10.29, public hearing, initial contract proposal, AUHSD, to Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association, ASTA. We open a public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, we close the public hearing. 10.30, initial contract proposal, Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association, ASTA, to AUHSD, information item. 10.31, public hearing, initial contract proposal, Anaheim Secondary Teachers Association asset to AUHSD. Open the public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, we close the public hearing. Next item is Superintendent's Office 10.32, 2025 California School Boards Association Delegate Assembly election. If you will go to your Exhibit II, there is a form in there. If you haven't already filled it out, please do so. And our parliamentarian will walk around behind us or in front of us. And we will hand it to him, and he will tally it and give us the results in a few minutes.
I'm so sorry, but
It's Exhibit II. Yeah.
I'm leaving
You don't have
it.
to vote for anybody or vote for?
I'm not going to fill it out.
You don't have to fill it out, or you can if you want. You don't have to sign it, just have to fill it out and hand it to him.
I just have a comment.
Yes?
There's an Angela Hernandez, and nothing against her, but she is not qualified. She's only been on the board, she just got elected, so she hasn't taken the time for 2 years. I mean, you have to be 2 years on the board to
But it's on
become. It's on here, I don't know how that got on there.
Okay, Mr. Parliamentarian, can you, if anybody's voted for that person, can you adjust the vote because they're not qualified? Yeah, just remove, yes. Yep. Okay, while the parliamentarian does that, we'll come back to it after we're finished here. Next is the consent calendar. Anybody wishing to pull any items?
11, 4, and 5?
11, 4, and 5? 11, 4, and 11, 5. Anybody else? Okay, I'll be pulling 11, 7 QQ and 11, 8.
Motion for the balance?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's go with 11, 4.
And 5
Oh,
together.
and 11, 5 together.
Yeah,
We have a
motion?
motion?
So moved.
Motion?
Second?
And a second. Discussion.
Just wanted to point out that, in addition to that wonderful report that Mr. Walker made, a lot of our projects are come in most of the time on budget or under budget. And I just wanted to point out another plus to our wonderful team.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Yeah, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 11, 7 QQ and 11, 8.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Aye. Says that's 401. Mr. Parliamentarian, do you have results on that?
I do, and we have votes for 7 people, and there are 7 slots. So if the board wishes, they can move them forward. Lauren Klatzker with 4 votes, Jessica Guerrero with 4 votes, Beverly Berryman with 3 votes, Susie Schwartz with 3 votes, Bonnie Castry with 2 votes, Rudia Sheed with 2 votes, and Carrie Flanders with 1 vote.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the vote? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's 4-5-0. Thank you very much.
Wait a minute, who was that Jessica Guerrero person?
Appreciate your confidence in my abilities.
Who is that?
I don't know. I'm just no. Thank you for the vote.
And are you related to the police chief?
I am.
No. Okay. All right. Next is we're finished with that. We're moving on to Board of Trustees reports. Mrs. Smith.
Short one, I attended the insurance committee meeting and the discipline committee meeting. And we talked about removing phones in the classroom for my ballot statement. So I'm very happy that this is moving forward toward a policy.
Okay. Mr. Hoshi?
Yes, so on the 18th, Mr. O'Neill and I went to the district graduation meeting on this. And that evening, a representative, Lou Correa, came to Anaheim High School and did a presentation for our families on Know Your Rights, and it provided valuable information for our families. And then later on that night, I went to the CIF basketball game at Anaheim High School. Ms. Randall Trejo and I went Wednesday to the PTSA Founders Day event here at the district office. The next day, Mrs. Randall Trejo, Ms. Guerrero, and President O'Neill went to the naming of the softball field for Sue Hall at Kennedy High School. On Friday, the 21st and the 22nd, we had ambassador interviews. We have, the district is in good hands. We have an incredible group of new leaders. Ms. Randall Trejo and I were there at CVA, and boy, that room was cold and it kept us alive that night. So on the 27th, there was also the dedication of the wellness room at Loera High School. NBC News was there. And it was the partnership that we have with the OC Department of Ed, Cal Optima. And there was one, my brain is kind of going, but let's see, it was Chalk Hospital. And they have done partnerships with 7 of our schools, and they're looking forward to doing more. So it was really nice. It was on NBC News, and I want to just really acknowledge the work that Dr. Cruz has done, and so just want to thank her for that too. You guys have to visit some of these wellness rooms that Luna was talking about, because I feel like I'm in a hotel, and it just is so great for our kids. Let's see, the next day we went to, Mrs. Randall Trejo and I went to, and we judged the Lexington Idol competition, which was a lot of fun. So much talent in our district. The AI Summit began, and I just really want to give kudos to Mr. Charles Koo, Allison, Conrad for their organization. Thank you so much. And I know, Seema, you had some background stuff that you were doing with a lot of the work. And then our very own voice of God, Brian Belsky, who did such a great job at announcing. I mean, I love how really that just sets the experience for everybody there. And then on top of that, our show, or the summit, opened up with our very own Kennedy Show Choir, who did a rendition of We Are the World. So I think that was a really great way to just, start the show or start the summit. And I want to acknowledge really Mr. Matsuda. I mean, really, to think that this has grown so much in 1 year and where we're at right now, and all the incredible sponsors that we had to cover the cost of everything. That evening, we had the Black History Month celebration, and it was just a great evening, a great celebration, and our very own Board of Trustees, gave a really incredible speech, and I just, it just was like, wow. Every single time I hear you speak, it just gets better and better, so thank you.
Thank you.
It was very inspirational. Ms. Smith and I went to the Student Discipline Task Force, and then Mr. Matsuda and I, at the beginning of this week, we welcomed the social workers to the district office. And again, I want to give kudos to Dr. Cruz, because it was the first meeting that we had our wellness coaches there that started. And Mr. Matsuda and I were there to welcome the work that they do. Just happens to be, again, Social Workers Month. I think that the real day to celebrate is the 19th, but we're going to be doing that throughout our schools. And then I had the privilege of speaking at the College and Career Readiness class at Oxford Academy, and just a joy to speak to 8th graders. I miss my teaching days. So I got a taste of that back, and I just loved it. And on my way out to the parking lot, a group of seniors stopped me to just ask me some questions. So I got some really incredible street data for us. So I just love speaking to kids. Thank you once again, Ms. Cruz. Tomorrow is Maintenance Workers Appreciation Day too, if people didn't know. So I want to say thank you to our maintenance workers who just work through all kinds of just different weather situations. And then it's also festival music season right now. I know our bands are going through that this week and next week, and we have some pre-festival concerts. So good luck to all of our music students, and thank you very much.
Thank you. To continue the accolades for the AI Summit, there are a lot of people behind the scenes, Amy and Amanda, and a lot of folks, our teachers that presented, admin that were there and supporting their teams, just a plethora of, it was kind of like a love fest. And I was able to go to the bus tour that took some folks that came early on Thursday to Magnolia. And Amy came up with this AUHSD artificial intelligence story timeline. And it wasn't just started last year, Ron. It was just, it's been so many years in the
I'm
making.
talking about the summit.
Just the summit.
The
Right.
summit.
Actually, this
Not
is.
the work, the summit.
This is summit 3 or 4? 3. Okay. I knew there was one more we did.
Oh, if you count red stuff.
Yes. And so, anyway, if you can get a hold of this, everyone, I think this will just amaze you. It really floored me, and it was really emotional to hear all of the things that, the district has implemented and celebrated throughout the year, starting from 2008. Ran into Manuel Colon, and he said that we should add the furniture on here. Because that's innovative furniture. As Mr. Walker pointed out, it's kind of like, furniture, but it really made a difference, and it touched every single one of our students' lives. And running into Dr. Moreno, he also said that in addition to this, we should add that we passed our bonds, as a celebration and to show the work that has gone on. But this is really amazing, and including, let's see, all of the other things that you said. Attended my GASELPA meeting and no crop meeting. I was able to go to our ROP vocational nurse graduation ceremony, where 23 vocational nurses had their graduation ceremony. And if you ever go to that, it's really heartwarming to see these students. They're very well trained and they're very knowledgeable. I think 5 had gotten their tests back. They're actually accredited. And
Now they're LVNs.
They're LVNs. It's a candlelit ceremony, and they have the lamps, just like Florence Nightingale. Yeah, so it's really, really moving. Our ambassador interviews, you guys, as Ron said, we're in really, really good hands. I just want to point out that a lot of our students were talking about the service hours and how really that made a difference. And a lot of the clubs and things, when they don't have those hours, it's kind of petered off. And so we might want to have a discussion about those requirements, because it does make a difference. I attended the LCAP meeting, one of the LCAP meetings, and that was it. And on the 18th, I am traveling to Sacramento to advocate for ROP. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. O'Neill and I, President O'Neill and I attended the Budget Committee meeting on Valentine's Day. So it was fun. It was great. Thank you for everyone. There was cookies, but thank you to everyone that attended. It was a great presentation. I also attended. I had my first CSBA Masters in Governance course in Foundations of Effective Governance. Attended the Anaheim High School Alumni Golf Tournament. which is the annual event. Also joined my colleagues for the field naming ceremony for Susan Hall at Kennedy High School. Also had the opportunity to attend the OC Pathway Showcase, and I want to give a shout out to our schools that were present there. We were AUHSD was well represented with pathways in game design, technology and engineering, and media production. Also attended the excellent AI K-12 Deeper Learning Summit. I want to give a shout out to all of our staff and teachers that presented at the summit. Also attended the 5th annual Black History Month celebration that just has gotten bigger and bigger every year. And I want to give a shout out to the Black Lives Matter Task Force for incorporating our students more and more each year. Had the opportunity to attend the Youth Leadership Summit held by the Office of Councilmember Carlos Leon, and that was really great to see our AUH students participate. And then I want to take the time to thank our AUHD Food Services for announcing the addition of meal kits for students observing Ramadan. Thank you so much for working on that. And I want to give a shout out to the Anaheim High School boys soccer team for just an incredible season this year, which led them all the way to second place in CIF and a performance at the state regionals. And then I want to end my comments tonight congratulating our Anaheim High School girls water polo team for winning the Division 6 CIF championship. This is, yes, applause. So this team actually made history as Anaheim High School's first girls sports team to win CIF ever in the school's history. So we're just incredibly proud of them. The victory is a true celebration of these ladies' hard work, resilience, and teamwork. And I just want to give a shout out to the head coach, Denise Osorio, for all her dedication and commitment to the program. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, they've mentioned almost everything that I've done. Almost. Just a couple. Let's see. Ms. Randall-Trejo mentioned about the vocational nursing through ROP. And that costs, because it's the adult program now, isn't high school students not in it, it costs about $20,000. But if they have to go out into the world and take the exact same thing, it's about $100,000. So it's a real bargain, and our students that graduate are at the top in their tests. So we have an extremely high percentage of our students pass the L test to become an LVN versus the general public that goes out for the test graduating from whatever school they went to. So kudos to our ROP program. I've attended I think the proper title is the immigration event online.
The Know Your Rights.
Know Your Rights. Okay, so I've listened in on a couple of those. I attended, along with Ms. Randall-Trejo, the ROP Celebration of Success scholarship interviews for students that have applied for scholarships through the ROP organization. And then this morning, Mr. Hoshi and I attended Every Student Succeeds in Cyprus, which is from all the schools in Cyprus, private, public, including the community college, and each school has a student that they are acknowledging has had some adversity in their life, and they've overcome it, and they're working on it, and they're being acknowledged for that. So thank you, one and all. Also, the AI Summit was phenomenal. I want to thank it's a lot of work, I know, for everybody that touches it. So thank you for your staff and everybody that was involved in that. You did a great job. And I attended every single session, so it was all great. I tell you, there were so many sessions, it was overwhelming, so hard to choose from. So the next item is advanced planning. Anybody wanting to request a item for a board agenda? Seeing none. Item, I jumped over future meeting dates, that's obvious. April 10th is our next regular board meeting at 6 p.m. Oh, that's not on here, but yes, there's a study session next Tuesday at
3:30?
3:30.
At the ROP.
ROP across the street. So that is open to whoever wants to come. And item 14.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I've never heard a 3-2 the opposite way, so.